Welcome back to our last episode, the area of self compassion when it comes to depression. Of course, we have some more areas to discover in depression, and these videos will hopefully help you decrease your depression in your day to day life, decrease any negative behaviors that you may have because tools have been provided, maybe new ones that you didn't know about, or maybe it's just some old ones that you needed a reminder of. And hopefully, this will increase your healthy behaviors, right? The ones where you're living the life you want to live, where we don't allow depression or in the other videos, anxiety, really get too big of a hold of you so that you're not able to do what you want to do in life. So we're going to be learning about living with a softer voice and making compassion a daily practice. Again, welcome to the final episode of Softening the Inner Critic. You've made it this far. Take a deep breath. Really, you've shown up, you've reflected, you've practiced speaking to yourself with more care, more curiosity, and hopefully way more compassion. And that's no small thing. Really, changing behaviors is a hard thing to do. It is not easy at all. And now we're closing this chapter by asking, how do I live with a softer voice? Not just hear it occasionally. In this episode, we'll explore simple daily practices that keep self-kindness alive, the reminder that compassion is a muscle, not a finish line, and how to celebrate imperfect progress and keep growing gently. Let's bring it home. One breath, one phrase, one moment at a time. So where do we get started in this area? Well, you can choose one or two compassion practices. You don't need to overhaul your whole life to stay connected to self-compassion. Small, consistent choices are powerful. Like anything in life, if you want to change a behavior, a habit, you want to start small. Because if we start huge, it's going to be really hard to continue going huge or at that pace. So we start small, doing small wins, and slowly build upon those. So here are a few gentle daily practices to choose from. A mantra or affirmation. Say something kind each morning or night, like I'm doing the best I can today, or I'm allowed to be a work in progress, or gentleness is strength. Do a daily check-in. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What do I need? Can I offer myself a little kindness in this moment? And remember, all of these tools can actually be used with your children as well. And while you're practicing them, help your little kids practice them. And mini journaling. End your day with one sentence. One small way I showed up for myself today was pick one or two of these, not all, and make them yours. And compassion grows best when it's sustainable soil. So that just means small wins, small changes mean big wins and big changes in the long run. It really is a marathon, not a sprint, like everything in our life. And that's just something that we have to kind of keep in the back of our heads and understand that going forward. And so remember also, compassion is a muscle, like anything in our life. A lot of people think self-compassion is something you either have or you don't. But the truth is, self-compassion is a muscle. The more you practice it, especially on the hard days, the stronger it does become. And like any muscle, some days you'll feel tired, of course. Some days you'll forget, or some days the critic will be louder than the kindness is. And that's going to be okay, because progress in this space isn't linear, like anything. It's not about perfection, it's about returning. So again, it's think about going to the gym or trying a new sport, or working in a new field, or starting a new college class. All these things are hard sometimes and not easy. And some days we feel tired and we don't want to go, and sometimes we go anyways. Sometimes we feel tired and don't want to go, and we don't go, and we get back up there and we do it again the next day. And sometimes that critic is pretty loud and putting us down and telling us that we're just not good enough and we can't do this. But we have to learn that kindness has to be louder than that, and we have to have an internal world that is really resilient and really built up for us. And so when we work this muscle over and over again, like any muscle in our life, any area of our life, it is going to get easier. So remember, you don't have to feel compassionate to practice it. Even when it feels awkward, you're still strengthening that habit. And every time you choose a softer thought, you are changing your inner world. And that does count. So, what's another area that we can do this with? Well, we can celebrate how far we've come. Let's pause for a moment and let's honor this. You've done something courageous. You've looked at the part of you that used to hide, criticize, or shut down, and instead of judging it, you choose to meet it with care. And that's pretty amazing. That is actually huge. Maybe you've written a letter to yourself, tried speaking more kindly, sat with difficult emotions instead of running from them, and notice your inner voice and soften it. Of course, all of that matters. Growth isn't measured by how perfectly you practice compassion. It's measured by how often you return to yourself with openness. So practice this. End today by writing, here's how I've grown. Here's what I want to keep practicing. Here's what I'm proud of. Let that be your celebration. And sometimes I think we forget that we need to celebrate those small wins, because those small wins over and over again, especially when we do the hard things, is what builds our self-esteem and our courage. And again, the kindness to ourselves and the ability that we know we can do the hard things in life. So let's celebrate that. And to wrap up this journey, self-compassion isn't a destination. It's a relationship with yourself. You've learned how to notice your critic, soften your self-talk, and support yourself in body and mind. And you've planted seeds that will keep growing, even on days when they're quiet. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to arrive. And you just need to keep choosing kindness, imperfectly, consistently, and honestly. So here's the comment section. Comment below on this question. What's one compassionate practice you want to carry forward after this series on self-compassion? Or tell us what's your soft voice or what's your hard voice if you're having a hard time with that. We would love to hear that as well. So remember, you've shown incredible courage by just being here. You've proven that healing doesn't require harshness, and you've built something real, a softer voice that lives inside of you now. That is just the beginning. Thank you for being part of this journey. As always, I am so proud of you, and I'm always cheering you on. And definitely put a comment below, because I will cheer you on with the comments. So the next series in depression is going to be on cognitive patterns, challenging negative thoughts. So here we are at a section that I love, of course, because I get to talk about my journal and the children's book, and there will be more of these. So in a world that moves too fast, what if you could create space to come home to yourself and help your children do the same? Start with your heart. Self-love, self-discovery, and self-discipline journal is your guided path to clarity, purpose, and showing up for the life that you do truly want. There's monthly, daily, and weekly prompts that help you go deeper, stay grounded, and take gentle action. Of course, when anxiety does arise, meet yourself with compassion. The Anchored in Kindness journal helps you calm your nervous system, understand your patterns, and find peace, one breath, one page at a time. Again, thoughtful prompts and a safe space to soften and open up for you. For the little hearts that you love the most, meet Luna and Bravion the Lion, a magical story that helps children find their courage, listen to their hearts, and trust their own glowing spark. A story of bravery, self-trust, and emotional wisdom. And of course, at the end, there are worksheets to do. Your little ones may need your help in doing that, but this is their space to understand their own bravery, their own courage, their own spark, and who they are. So if you have liked this video, of course, like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with somebody that you think may need to live with a softer voice and make compassion a daily practice.